Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another beautiful day, another evening, another month that we are grateful to be here for and celebrating. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is Let's Finally Talk. And today we're going to be talking about a subject that builds on our last show. And today's subject is what you choose not to carry anymore. So if you are new to this show or you are new to our network, welcome. We're thrilled to have you. We are live streaming on many destinations right now, but I'd like to share our 2 YouTube platforms in case you haven't gone there yet. If you could subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the defining moment when you make a decision, you have a choice that what you've been carrying with you that feels empty, it might feel heavy, it doesn't serve you anymore. You actually make the decision not to carry it anymore. And when you get to this point, it is so liberating. It is so uplifting. I want you to think back or maybe think to something right now that's going on in your life that you feel is just very heavy. And sometimes you don't even recognize it. Sometimes you're carrying things that are not even yours to carry. And as you become aware of this deepening, this awareness, you realize that you have this emotional baggage, this emotional weight that actually has never belonged to you. What does this look like? It looks like other people's anger, other people's inability to make decisions, other people's negativity, their opinions, their expressions, their expectations, or even their unresolved issues. And they put this out there into the world. And because we are coming from a place of love and compassion, we want to help. We want to assist. And what ends up happening is we end up absorbing a lot of this negative energy. So through what I've created, which is called elevated listening, listening without interruption, without problem solving, without stage hogging, and without judgment, we are able to focus what we're doing on ourselves and what we're meant to carry, as opposed to carrying the weight of others. So by choosing not to carry something for someone else, that doesn't mean that we're avoiding something. That doesn't mean that we're indifferent to something. It's basically we are setting an intention. And that intention is what will bring emotional clarity. And when we have emotional clarity, we will feel lighter. We will feel empowered, and we will feel liberated. So let's talk a little bit about what we often carry without even thinking about it. We don't even have a question about it. Number 1, other people's moods or the emotional state that they're in. You get together with a friend or a colleague or a family member, a community member, and you can sense the negativity. Sometimes you can even sense it when someone walks into a room. Have you ever felt that? You're in a great mood and all of a sudden someone comes in, you're like, oh, this negative energy. And now all of a sudden you have to engage with this person and you start feeling their energy bringing you down. And even when you set a boundary, you say to yourself, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going here anymore. You still have to address it with the other person. And so what do? Do you say, hey, clearly you're in a bad mood? Have you ever had anyone say that to you and you feel like, wow, they're really judging me? But maybe we're not aware of how we're coming across. Maybe we're not aware of the energy that we're carrying. So we get to make a choice. We can choose how we show up. And here's something that I suggest. I suggest when you feel like you're in a place where you're not your best, your energy level's low, you're emotionally charged, maybe step out of the conversation. Maybe let the other person know, I know we're supposed to talk today, but my energy is kind of off and I'd rather postpone it. And for someone who is coming from a place of fear or a place of ego, they may take this as a threat or some type of game move. But yet you are coming from a place of love and you're actually trying to protect them because you don't want to share this emotional negative energy with them. Maybe something just happened to you and you're kind of off balance. Something happened to you during the course of your day or your evening, and you've got to process it. You have the right to say, this is not going to work out for me right now. However, I would like to get together with you once I resolve some of these things. And again, you're not responsible for how the other person shows up. The other person may have been counting on the meeting. They may have been looking forward to the conversation, and all of a sudden it's not taking place. That is not your problem. As long as you handle it in a graceful and kind way, you're actually protecting yourself and you're protecting the other person. Because think about getting involved in a conversation where you're already in a bad mood. Something happened to you and you're just angry. Maybe you just finished watching television in the news or reading something. You're emotionally charged. And now you're going to have this conversation with another person and you haven't processed your anger, your anxiety, your sadness, any of the emotions that are on the negative sense. You can feel it. You can just sense what's going on in your body. You can say, this is not a great time for you or for me. I'd like to reschedule. You don't have to give a lot of information. I always talk about that because when you give the information, when you give the reason, when you start explaining, that doesn't mean the other person is going to be receptive. They're going to believe it, or they're not going to ask more questions for you to continue explaining. And we already talked about that in another episode, which is over explaining ourselves, where we feel like we're now on the defensive. We made a decision, and the decision was, this isn't a great time for me to have this conversation with you. It's not a great time for me to be meeting with you. And now we're over explaining ourselves. So whatever the explanation is, believe me, someone will start judging it. Oh, let's see. So she can't have a conversation with me today because she's sad. Oh, he can't have a conversation with me because he's angry. Oh, and people just start doing what we do as humans. So don't even allow that opportunity. Just make your statement and then offer another opportunity when you can get together, because that's really what people are looking for. They're looking for the yes. Unfortunately, I'm not available to speak with you right now. However, as I look at my schedule, I could be available in an hour. How does that sound? Now, that doesn't mean that the other person is going to be, oh, that's terrific. Yeah, guess what? That's great. I have nothing to do. I'm just sitting around waiting to talk to you in an hour. No. They may come back and say, well, that's not going to work for me, or I don't want to talk to you now. If they're coming from a place of love, they will find a time. If they're coming from a place of anger, low self-esteem, or ego, they may challenge you on it. They may push back. They may insult you. They may judge you. Just remember, that's on them. That's not on you. You don't have to take it on. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. We're in a conversation and someone starts gossiping about someone. And you just feel to yourself, I don't want to be part of this conversation. Must you sit there and continue on? Absolutely not. Someone shared with me something that they do, and I really love this. The person shared that when they're in a circle of people gossiping, or even just with another person, they will say, you know what? Why don't we call Susie and get her on the phone because we're going to be talking about her. Let's include her in the conversation. And I absolutely love that. Sometimes we carry things because we feel it's expected by our family, colleagues, or friends. Or we think there are these roles that we're supposed to play in our life. So we just carry on. Other times there's tension or pressure at work or again in our personal lives. And sometimes, like what's going on with the world right now, there is an outrage or fear or just this sense of anger. And so we take it all on and we don't know what to do with it. So, what I'd like you to think about is when you become aware of all of this, that doesn't mean that you have to own it. That doesn't mean you have to take it on. Be aware of it and say, okay, I realize this is what's going on, but I choose not to carry it. I choose to just have the awareness and continue on. Why do we continue to carry things when they're not ours? Well, I just talked about it. We are conditioned around it because of that responsibility. You're in a certain role in your family or in your relationship or at your organization, and it's expected that you're going to be the one doing all of this work, carrying all of it around, that you have an incredible, endless amount of empathy for everyone. Or we are afraid of being seen as cold and uncaring. We also sometimes really feel like if we continue carrying it, we're very loyal. And we care about that loyalty. We want people to see that, you know what, I'm a great family member. I'm a great employee. I'm a great whatever it might be. I can be loyal and I can just go with the flow. But what ends up happening? Eventually, we realize that this is not a place of strength. It's actually a place of weakness. And it starts weighing on us. It can weigh on us emotionally. It can weigh on us physically. Now, think about a situation, maybe a relationship that you've been in where it's a lot of negativity. You're surrounded constantly by someone who's judging you, or maybe they're in a bad place and their negativity is rolling into the family dynamics. You might go along with it because you love, because you care, because you took a vow, because it's important. But inside, it starts to wear you down. And what happens? You start reacting. What happens? You start being resentful. What happens? You have less desire to fix the situation. So when conversations come up, you might not be actively engaging. You might just be worn out and broken down. So before this happens, let's have the clarity and awareness of the fact that we don't have to carry what we don't want to carry anymore. I don't know if you happen to see the television, I think it was a movie in the theaters, and then it was a television movie called Up in the Air with George Clooney, and not a paid spokesperson. I thought it was really interesting because they had this whole section of the movie where he was carrying this backpack, and then he would go into these presentations and he would start talking about unpacking your backpack and what was in there. And I thought that was really fascinating, and I hope I did the movie a service by bringing it up. So if you think about what are you carrying around with you every single day? Now, I'd like to think that the older we get, the less we carry. But sometimes we feel this incredible urge to carry all of our family members' issues. And sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm not here for that much longer, or how much longer am I going to live? I might as well keep staying in this role. But it is possible to break out of it. And it is possible to still be a loving, kind, generous, empathetic, and compassionate person. But we have to choose where we put our energy. Now, I'll give an example. So for those of you who don't know, my apartment was flooded over a week ago through no fault of my own, through the unit upstairs. No one's living there. Apparently they moved out. They left the window open and one of the pipes in the wall froze and broke. And then the water came down to this apartment. Well, this is the second time that my apartment's been flooded almost to the day. Last year it was flooded because the same unit, someone was living there, and apparently she decided to hang her clothes from the sprinklers in her apartment. So my apartment was flooded then. So when it happened this time, just like last time, I was by myself. And so this time I thought to myself, okay, I want to go upstairs and see who's living there and what's going on, because I keep to myself. But I wanted to speak to the person upstairs and say, I'm sorry, but what is actually going on with you that you now have flooded not just my apartment? I mean, we had the fire department, the police department, we had the recon people here till 10 of 1 in the morning, and of course the maintenance people. So I go up there and it turns out no one's living there. So I was highly emotionally charged for about 15 minutes. And I came back down here and I watched the water coming into the apartment. And I just said to myself, this is not mine to carry. I did not cause this. I cannot fix this. I have done everything I can by calling the proper people to come and take care of it. And I'm still living in a flood zone that there's no more water, but it is a disaster. I am broadcasting to you from my kitchen as my broadcasting studio is trashed. But I am not carrying any of this with me, because if I were, I wouldn't be able to get anything done. I realize I'm in a situation that is out of my control. I've done the best that I can to move everything. Yesterday, I went through one of my closets and some of my beautiful items that I've had for years were covered in mold. And so now they have to be thrown away. The point being, I've chosen not to carry any resentment about the pipe upstairs, about the building, about maintenance, about the recon people. And I have no anger towards anyone. I just want a solution. And that's what I want you to think of. What is the solution? What can you do to find more peace in your life? And one answer is stop carrying around things that are not yours or that you don't have control over, and look for the solution. Now, staying with my apartment as an example, what have I done as a solution? Well, I decided to clean out all the closets because they're going to put in new flooring and new carpeting. And that's when I found out that my one closet, this is yesterday, there was a leak there that no one saw. And so all the things that were in the closet from a certain section are covered with mold and they're no good. So I got rid of everything. I put it in bags, waiting for the insurance company to come and look at it. And I went, they had tarps in different places on the floor, and I started picking up the tarps, and lo and behold, there was water trapped under the tarp. So I got rid of the tarp. I moved everything. I went into my studio, and I have a beautiful display case in there, and I opened the drawers to take everything out. The bottom drawer was filled with water, literally filled with water, maybe half an inch deep. And so everything in the bottom drawer, which included my diplomas, it included photo albums, things that are irreplaceable. There's no amount of money that you can put on it, floating in water. So why do I bring this up? Well, I figured when the recon people came and they had 25 fans out here, industrial fans, I was wearing noise canceling headphones for over a week. I figured all the water was gone, but it wasn't. So I did what I could do. I accepted the fact that I will never be reimbursed for priceless items. I'll never be reimbursed for designer bags that have mold growing on them. And I said to myself, this is the way that it's meant to be. So what is the solution? The solution is I move on. I move on and I come here and I speak with you day after day. Carrying around anger and carrying around resentment doesn't serve any purpose. It just holds us back. Do we want things to happen to us that are negative? Of course not. But maybe it's part of the journey. You know, it's interesting. I was sharing with someone recently, someone in a position of authority. I told them what had happened. And the person said to me, well, what is your strategy so this doesn't happen again? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, what is your strategy so you don't have a flood again? And I started thinking about it. At first, I kind of was like, what kind of question is that? I mean, what am I supposed to do so I don't have a flood with the people upstairs? I don't know what the answer is. I'm still working on it. But I thought it was a thought-provoking question. And so my thought-provoking question for you is, what can you eliminate from your life today that is not serving you? Is it a person? Is it a process? Is it a place? Is it your own repetitive thoughts? Are you putting yourself down? Are you constantly questioning yourself? What can you let go of? I want us to think back to the backpack. Think of a backpack. Okay, I'm not a backpacking person. I'm not a hiker. I'm not going into the woods, but I know what a backpack is. And if you think about it, how much stuff can you put into the backpack? Quite a lot if you pack it appropriately. I was never really good at packing. My mom was like an expert. I would pack the trunk. She'd take everything out and she put it in and more. She was great when it came to packing. Some of you are probably like that, right? You can pack in so much stuff, whereas others of us, not so great at packing. But think about the emotional baggage that we have packed in. How and when can we let it go? Sometimes what we think we're going to do is the opposite of what we actually do. So maybe we overeat. Maybe we have patterns of behavior that are completely dysfunctional. I know for me, one of the things that I used to do is, and this sounds crazy now when I think about it, I would love chocolate chip cookies. And so I have a spin bike and I would eat the cookies while I was spinning on the bike, looking at my watch to see how many calories I had burned up. I mean, this is crazy, right? Craziness. And so eventually I started realizing you cannot out exercise 3 large chocolate chip cookies. It's not happening. So I stopped eating chocolate chip cookies and I realized I didn't have to exercise as much. So, for example, with this whole flood situation, I took Saturday and Sunday off. I didn't exercise at all. Usually I exercise 3 hours a day, but I've stopped eating sugar and I stopped drinking wine. So my body is pretty much detoxed and in a great place. So I don't have to exercise as much as I used to. So why do I bring this up? Because I feel like I was working out so much because I was kind of beating myself up for eating what I was eating. And so if I exercised till I almost drop, then that would be okay because I deserved it because I wasn't eating healthy. See how these dysfunctional thought processes. And so I became aware of it. And I said, you know what? This is not a long-term plan. I'll be 63 next month. I can't keep exercising the way that I'm exercising every single day. I'm still doing 2 GTX classes a day, sometimes 2 solid core classes a day. So 5 days a week, I'm really pushing it. But 2 days, I'm now taking off and saying, you know what? My body needs it. I've earned it. And I'm not trying to prove anything. So think about what behavior patterns you have that could be dysfunctional. And this brings me to something else. Someone who isn't here anymore, so I don't want to mention her name, but she used to hide candy in her house. And none of us knew this. And she kept gaining more weight and gaining more weight. And so we ended up going to a therapy session. It wasn't someone in my family, but someone that I knew. I went to the session to help out. And she admitted that she'd been hiding candy all over the house. And so we had to go back to the house and we had to find the candy and then we had to have a conversation. And what she shared was that she spent most of her life hating herself. And so she would eat the candy because it was sweet and she would feel better about herself. But then she hated herself for eating the candy. So then she was ashamed for the people in her life to know that she was eating it. So she started hiding it around the house. And I mean, think about this. Think about the amount of time and energy that it takes to go and hide candy. It was in the washing machine. It was in the closets. It was, I mean, you mentioned it and she was hiding the candy there. That's what we do, maybe not with candy, but with other behaviors, because we don't know the fact that we're carrying all this baggage that's caused by us taking on other people's issues, problems, moods, and emotions. So I want you to think that today you have a choice. You can free yourself from carrying around other people's emotional baggage. And what's a good way to do this? I know there are times when we want clarity. We want to understand what's going on in the relationship, or why haven't you called, or why aren't we getting together anymore? Let the people do whatever it is they want to do. If they don't call you, if they don't get back to you, if you had an encounter with them and it wasn't productive, you have a choice, and you could say, it's just not meant to be. I've shared this example before, but I think it warrants sharing again. And I didn't come up with this. Someone else did. If you think about a tree, the tree has the branches with the leaves, and it has the base, and it has the roots. So the leaves come and go. If it's winter where you are, you can look outside and maybe you'll see a tree, but you won't see any leaves. Those leaves are like acquaintances, or maybe they're even people we've had a deep relationship with, but they're gone now. So the wind blows and they're gone. Maybe they're like the branches. The branches are sturdier. Sometimes they have to get cut down because they might be impeding with an electrical wire, or maybe a storm comes and breaks them off. But the branches are stronger than the tree, so they typically last longer. But the roots are the people who are there time in and time out. They understand when you're going through a hard time. They understand if you say, I'm not able to share this conversation with you right now because I'm not feeling at my best. They understand. Those people are the people that we want to spend our time with. The other people can come and they can go. So why would we choose to carry the emotions, the moods, etc. of people who are leaves? But we do it all the time. And the fact is, one day they're going to be gone. They're meant to serve a purpose in our life. And maybe that purpose today is that we recognize and realize that we don't have to be everything for everyone. That the first thing we have to do is recognize what is coming up for us and how are we choosing to process it. If you are going through something right now and you feel very much alone, there is something beautiful about being alone, in that you don't have to hear someone else's opinion, because it's just that. And no one knows what we're going through in our life except for us. People can be witness to it. They can be there for us, but they're not actually the one going through it. And we're not going through what someone else is going through. So looking for a solution, even in a circumstance that might seem so dire, how can we be at peace? What can we do so that we feel we can let go of other people's issues and emotions? Now, I am not saying not to be compassionate. I am not saying not to have empathy. I think compassion and empathy are very important, but we all have limits. Someone said something to me recently. She's a very high-end coach, and I really appreciate what she shared. She said that many of her coaching clients are also her friends. And I said, well, how does that work? And she said, well, when we go out, if someone starts talking about husband, children, family, they can say what they have to say until it gets to the point where it's taking up most of the conversation. And then she said, she'll say to them, if you want some additional support, you can hire me. And I said, wow, that takes such courage. And she said, no, it's not courage. It's a boundary. If you're my friend, then we're going to go out and have conversations. You're going to say something, I'm going to say something, we're going to go back and forth. But if you're dominating the conversation with your problems, you need to get some external help. And she said, I'm available to be hired, but I'm not available to be taken advantage of. She said, if I'm spending my money to go out to dinner, I want to be able to enjoy myself, not feel like I'm a therapist who's not getting paid. So think about that. What can you process by yourself? Maybe you need a journal. You start writing it down. Maybe you talk out loud. I do it all the time. You start talking to yourself and saying, hey, this apartment was flooded again. I mean, what are the chances that it was going to be flooded 2 years in a row, almost on the same day because of the same apartment, and now no one's living upstairs? What are the chances? And then you come to terms with it and say, okay, this is the situation. What am I going to do about it? First thing I did was I moved my equipment into the kitchen. That's where I am right now. So a lot of my equipment I can't use anymore. So I don't have the exact professional sound that I like to have, but I'm doing the best that I can in these circumstances. So I found a solution. After the flood a week ago, Saturday, it was actually Sunday morning, 10 of 1, I had to broadcast for 6 hours on our 4th anniversary show. So it was a big day for me, celebrating 4 years in business. And Now I'm doing it from my kitchen with no heat. So I was wearing a coat, and you know what? The show must go on. And it turns out the show was pretty good anyway. So you look for the solutions. I promise you, you do not have to get on the phone and start calling people and going, hey, what do you think I should do about this? Because everyone's going to have a different opinion. And when you invite opinions, expect to get them, expect to be judged. But when you think about it yourself, maybe you start writing things down, you start talking out loud. Maybe you talk to artificial intelligence. You just bounce ideas back and forth. You'll come up with a solution. And it'll be a solution that you agree with, that feels good in your body, as opposed to getting lectures from other people. Oh, your apartment flooded again? What did you do this time? Why was it your fault? Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry, but no, it was not my fault. I don't need external validation. So when you don't need the external validation, when you come from a place of love, the solution will come. But the first thing is look in the mirror and say to yourself today, what is it I can let go of? Whose stuff am I carrying around with me? And then how do you set the boundary? If you're used to being in the situation where your family members call you and tell you all their problems, or you're at work and certain people stop you as soon as you come in, or they stop you in your office, whatever the case is, how do you keep a relationship with the people if you want? By the way, that's a choice, you don't have to. And at the same time, not carry what's not yours. You start to set a boundary. You know what, Mary, thanks for stopping by the office. Right now, actually, as much as I'd like to hear what you have to say, I've got a call I've got to jump on. Oh, you can't talk to me right now? Unfortunately, I'm not able to talk to you because I really want to be good at listening, and I've got to get on the phone and make some calls. I've got a meeting, whatever the case is. Now, remember what I said. If you start giving excuses, people are not happy. Oh, so now you have a meeting. I've come here to tell you something. I waited all weekend, and now you can't talk to me. It's not yours. It's basically manipulation. It's manipulation into getting you to feel sorry for the person because the person doesn't want to work on the issue themselves. Or maybe they've worked on it and they can't come up with an answer. So guess what the next answer is? You hire a coach. You hire a mentor. You go to a therapist. You do self-help. You read self-help books. You watch shows like this, and you start to figure it out. But by being there and putting that burden on someone else, in my opinion, that is not selfless, it's selfish. And that's a judgment, but I want you to think about it this way. We only have 24 hours in a day, and how we spend those 24 hours is up to us. So if your role is, and you're not a paid therapist, but your role is everyone calls you to tell you their problems, I bet there's a part of you that's really angry and resentful about it, because it's quite likely that the time that you're spending in an unpaid, emotionally or monetarily way is time that you could be doing something productive for yourself. So, our topic today is what you choose not to carry anymore. And I hope that today will be the day that you will start to draw some lines in the sand, not from a place of anger. It is from a place of love and compassion. Love and compassion for yourself and for the other person. You must take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. And taking care of anyone else doesn't mean that it's your full-time job. As a friend, you have boundaries. As a family member, you have boundaries. As a professional, as a business person, boundaries. Even when you go and see a therapist, it's a 50-minute session or an hour session or whatever it is. Or maybe you go for a massage. How long is it? 50 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours? You're not going to stay there all day. That's the point. The time value of money is priceless. So how you spend your time and the benefits that you're getting from it are up to you. Looking outward and blaming other people, if you're spending all of your time watching negativity on television, it will impact you. And you have to say to yourself, what good is it doing? What happiness is it bringing? If it's not bringing you happiness, ask yourself, why are you doing it? And then ask yourself why and why and why. If you know the 5 whys, maybe go down to 7 whys. Get all the way down to the bottom of the why. Why are you doing things that do not bring you joy? Are you punishing yourself for something? And if so, why? Get down to the foundation. When you think about a new house that's being built, without a sturdy foundation, you don't have anything. So you've got to go and do the work. And if you're unable to do it yourself, then you can hire professionals to help you. But please do start today. Please look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, where am I today? I'm in a new year. What can I let go of that isn't serving me and isn't mine? And again, in a kind, empathetic, compassionate way with boundaries. Thank you for listening. If you are here today and you were here for one of the first times, I really appreciate you. Please do go over to our YouTube channels. Here they are, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I understand that you have a choice of where you watch, and I really would love to have you move over to YouTube because they give us real information about where people are watching from, how long they're watching, so that we know what you like and what's really resonating. If you want to get in touch with me, you can contact me here at usaglobaltv.com and also drjacalyn.com. My email is drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com. Thank you so much. We'll be back with our next show. I hope that you found value today, and thank you for watching, whether it's on the live or the replay. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and Radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.